Hey, welcome to our review of the BlitzRCWorks F4F Wildcat unboxing and assembly review. So here I have unboxed plane. This is the almost ready to fly version. We picked this up from Banana Hobbies. Cost was $279. And as always, it's important for us to remind you these are not sponsored reviews. These are as honest and brutal as they get. So let's go ahead and dive in and see what this thing is what's it all about. So right off the bat, my experience with Banana Hobbies has been pretty good. Their shipping was way faster than I expected it to be. And hey, there we go, our box inside a box. And overall, the initial kind of instinct I get from the packaging and the boxing is this is a higher quality plane than some of the other off-brand models that we've reviewed. If you remember back to our video on the Dynam Hellcat, that was a little sketchy right out of the get-go. So here we have the box, which I figured, hey, more people want to see this, then we'll share that with you. It looks like a little bit more standard style box in that we have some actual foam here, so hopefully that means the plane's a little bit more put together than what we've had in the past. So yeah, let's slip the cover off and see what we have inside. Ooh, I see an airplane. Not just parts for an airplane. All right, unboxing video. Check this out. You gotta love that view. So it looks like we've got our wings, tail up here, fuse is down here. A little hard to tell what this is. Oh, other parts of the wings it looks like. That's the folding mechanism. So let's go ahead and let's lay all this stuff out. Take a quick look at it and kind of share our first impressions. So the foam, just right out of the bat, is that really messy styrofoam. You don't want to make a mess, you want to nick it on accident. Propeller. Oh, that's a very nice propeller. We've actually got some decaling and some detail on it. First impressions, it feels like a nice prop. The fiber impregnated nylon. Very, very rugged propeller. Now we'll pull out our fuselage. And hey, look at this. We've actually got what looks to be a assembled plane. Love this. We've got our, looks like our battery compartment and some wiring. Landing gears are already installed. Let's pull out some, I think are wings. Yes, indeed they are. And these are the wing halves because this plane has folding wings. They actually fold up next to the fuselage, just like on carriers, so they can store more planes and move them around easier. There's the other half of our wing. Initial impression, just taking a glance. So we don't have any control horns installed, nor do we have any of the control rods installed for the wings. So gonna be a little bit of work there to get that all dialed in. Looks like the rudder is the same way. I'm betting we've got the elevator in here. Yep, we do. And no servo horns installed. Boy, beautiful paint job. Heavy duty hinges. Really heavy hinges. Metal mechanical hinges. Really liking that. We've got our instructions. Looks like the other halves of the wing. There we are. And that's where we, that's where we would connect that into the fuselage, it looks like. And oh, hey, this is great. Somebody actually looked at it. I have a qualification or a qualified certification. In other words, somebody checked it to make sure that it was all there. And oh, one last little portion here. We've got Small bits and bobs. Looks like we have our control horns and rods already assembled. Various air ducts and scoops. And a mystery item wrapped up very well in foam. A bottle of glue. See if we have any brand or marking on this. Nope, just a generic white bottle of glue. Typically speaking, I like to use my own glues. Foam tack is one of my favorites, but yeah, that's kind of, I guess, where we start with this plane. So I think what we'll do is we'll get this ready and we'll do a top-down time lapse of the assembly. so there we have it. We have assembled our Wildcat. Have to be honest, I'm very impressed overall with the build quality. Just small things, small details, just really kind of leap out. For instance, there we go, the actual functional little grate here for our air intake. You know, the hinged wings are absolutely fantastic. Everything about this plane honestly ends up being quite impressive. There's a good kind of close-up view of the landing gears, and they are quite fantastic. I really wish I could find something to say, you know, that was maybe a little more critical. Other than overall, I would give this plane a very high grade. There are, of course, going to be very minor things. For instance, chipping of the paint on the blade. You know, other items that kind of stood out to me were just kind of how the tail here has just a little bit, and it's probably hard to see on camera. Let me see if I can line that up. There we go. A little bit of an arc to the horizontal stabilizer there. Hopefully that doesn't interfere with its flight pattern very much. It probably won't. The only actual problem that I found with this plane, and let me grab a flight stand and we'll run through a few other things here. There we go. So the problem that I've run into is the manual release mechanisms for the wing locks. So these are supposed to slide in and out, and they do with a fair amount of force, and that allows our wings to pivot back up and then of course lock back in. The problem is this mechanism is made from aluminum, and not a very good grade of aluminum either. In fact, this post bends. There we go, now we can see it well. And you have to apply just enough force that you begin to worry that you're going to damage it. So that's just one very small concern. We will see how this plays out over time. But you know, this one over here doesn't like to work very well, and well, apparently today this one's not going to work well either. So for transporting, if you take your time and you work with these, I think it'll be just fine. Doing it just to do it, you know, it's probably not that durable. The other element that was interesting, this doesn't have a normal type of access to the inside of the fuselage as other planes. So we've kind of got this messy little spaghetti box where our radio is sitting and the landing gear controller. Now, one thing I would like to do with this plane is to put in a gyro. The reason for that is, honestly, this is an extremely heavy plane. I'm actually very surprised at how heavy, and while we haven't flown it yet, that's what we're going to be doing here in the next week. I wouldn't be surprised if the plane, because it's so heavy for its size, flies very, very fast. And so having some gyro on here would be a nice thing. Other than that, I mean, really kind of just overall very happy with the plane. I think it might be fun here to throw a battery in here, and we can actuate our servos. Oh, one modification I made. I hate the plugs that it came with. I've converted over to the XT60s, and so very minor soldering job here. I was able to do it with the ESC still mounted in the fuse. It is interesting that the battery mounts vertically, and I haven't got my radio turned on. I have had the landing gears spontaneously close on me
whilst waiting to connect and bind to my radio. I don't know that this is going to be a consistent problem, but again, it's one of those things that we'll watch for and we'll update in the notes. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my radio on. There we go. And we'll just go through it just because it's kind of fun. We can see the rudder in the rear. There's our elevators and our ailerons. And there we go. Little throttle, turn back on our throttle cut so we stay safe. So let's go ahead and flip this bird over and we will actuate the landing gears. And I just like to do this because frankly, I think it's just a beautiful, beautiful piece of engineering on this plane. There we go. And surprising how fast they actuate. So that's real time. Video's not sped up. Pretty amazing. So, you know, narrow footprint. You know, for this scale of a plane, wouldn't mind the wheels being further out or even on the wings. But that's what the Wildcat was, and so we'll see how this handles on the ground and what that can you know, ultimately affect things with. Pretty awesome. So I do want to cover one other thing. So we've bought some Chinese planes, and you know, typically, honestly, the experience has been moderately poor. This is the manual that came with this particular unit. And I just thought it was worth using this because is an illustration, because this is a good gauge of the quality of a product, as well as the longevity of it. So the first thing I noticed, so I bought this from Banana Hobby, and this is if I recall, BlitzRCWorks. That's supposed to manufacture it, but we have Skyflight Hobby listed as the manufacturer in the actual manual. One thing that just gave me a heck of a time here is I didn't order the kit. We ordered the ARF version. And so this is a very generic manual designed for the kit at literally a component level. So stepping through your assembly instructions, you will skip over 20 steps to accomplish one step that you need to do. And then you'll go back and find that you had missed something. So the instructions certainly are not designed for this plane. However, they are extraordinarily visual, and I do really appreciate that. In fact, I don't know that I've seen too many instruction sets that are this visual for the setup of the plane. My one concern is I ended up looking up this Skyflight Hobby, and they look to be a generic manufacturer wholesaler, focusing primarily on jets, and a lot of the stuff that they were selling was extremely overpriced online. It makes me wonder if, you know, we have a hard landing here and I keep this plane around for a while and I break something, am I going to be able to track down the part? So that's just one of those things that it's kind of in the back of my head. I'm not sure that it warrants abandoning this particular model, but oop, there we go, self-ejecting battery. You know, even with those risks, this is such a beautiful plane. Very impressed with this plane. All I can do is, you know, give it my thumbs up, and, you know, can't wait to have it out in the field, and we'll have that follow-up video soon.